set things for this. All right, well, whatever. We're going live in three, two, one. Hello and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and add more freaking tech difficulties to this, which is kind of funny. I'm saying this because I said it in the other stream, and that just crashed and burned. And right now, I'm not very happy with Streamlabs. Not happy at all. But luckily, we got it semi under control, and I still need to send out new links to people who are hitting this old one. Like, what the heck? What's going on? So, about 1 or 2 minutes of a failed attempt is going to come up. But anyway. Welcome to Unexplained Possibilities, and I'm so upset I didn't even do my full intro here, but as you can see, Neima is here after being away for a minute now.
Hey.
And we have a special guest as well, who, thank you so much for your patience, Jackie.
Oh my gosh, absolutely! Anytime.
So, yes guys, please welcome Etheral Jac. So she's back. And
so excited to be back. Yeah, I'm so excited to be back.
Yeah, and it took everything for me not to call you Samurai Jack and stuff. Love Samurai Jack. Awesome show.
I used to love that show.
So Samurai Jack is back, cutting through. She's using her ESP to cut through you. You know.
That's awesome.
Oh, you started early with the jokes, with the good jokes.
Okay, so it looks like most people are popping back up. So again, I'm so sorry, guys. I was trying to use a new software for streaming, and it just did not want to cooperate. Even though I did some test runs, we're cool. It was fine, but this time it just said, nope, not today. But before we get into it, and I'm so upset because I wrote everything out on how I had it planned, and it was beautiful. But before we jump super into it, what time is it, actually? Yes, Kitty. Thank you. I do have a very big announcement to make, and that is Unexplained Possibilities is doing a giveaway. Oh, yeah. So... yes, we are giving away something made by Angie K, who's in chat right now. Hi, Angie. And what it is Setmet oil. and all of a sudden now I want to belch. So this is brilliant. If you don't know who Sekhmet is, she is an Egyptian goddess, sometimes known as the Eye of Ra, and she's a bit catty. Meow. And she is someone you don't mess with. Let's put it that way. Being the Eye of Ra and everything, she's very, very powerful. And the oil was made by Angie originally to give love, as in when a man loves a woman, that type of love. But it turns out it works better for self-love and raising confidence and bringing out an aggressiveness you didn't even know you had in you. And the oil is brilliant that way because that's what Sekhmet is about, showing that ferocity and not taking things laying down. So that is our giveaway. And this makes me even more upset because on the other software I have the picture set up and everything so you can see it, but not on this one. I'm so sorry. So what I will be doing is not wiggling that pin around. What I will be doing is showing the pictures after the stream on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and I will also make a smaller, shorter video announcing our giveaway as well. Okay. Oh, it's actually 2 giveaways. So one for Facebook and one for YouTube. So in order to enter, all you have to do is, after this stream, type in the chat and say, hey, I want to enter to win this oil. And subscribe to the channel. That'll be nice as well. And... oh my god! I just choked! What the heck?
Are you okay?
You know, this has not been a good day. Um, anyway, yeah, just put your name in there and I'll put you in the drawing and we're gonna do a live spin to see who wins it. And big thanks to Angie. She's the one who made it, who was channeling Sekhmet to do it. And if you guys want proof that it works, speak to Bonnie, who is in chat as well, and she will definitely back up those claims. So it actually is something that's really, really cool that you want to get into. All right, with all that out the way, Neima, you've been gone for a minute. What have you been up to?
Gosh, work, stress, work.
Actually, I don't think that's true. And I don't think it's true.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's true. And the reason why I don't think it's true is because of Jac here.
Oh, uh-huh.
Now,
Jac's giving me away.
Here's the thing. One of the reasons why Jac decided to come back on was due to something that happened between her and Neima. You see, Neima wasn't taken by aliens. She was not playing a guitar solos around the world or nothing like that. I found out that she was actually an underground MMA fighter. And to my surprise, Jac...
I'm so confused.
Wait, what?
I'm so confused.
And to my surprise, Jac is also an underground MMA fighter. And
oh my gosh, this was a shock to me.
Yeah, it's amazing what you could do on the astral realm, actually. And
okay, that makes more sense.
So the two fought, and the wager was, if Neima wins, Jac has to come back, whether she likes it or not. And if Jac won, well, she gets to like lather me up, which I guess that's not much of a victory. But
What?
So
I'm so confused.
So that is why Jac is back. Neima won. Quite possibly, Jac let her win. So hopefully we could get a rematch going. And here we are now. So let's jump into it. So, Jac, welcome back again. And
thank you.
You know, 2020 was a year. It was definitely a year. Thank God it's over. But it was a year that saw highs and lows, and in some cases for you, I want to say it was kind of high because of your spiritual journey. It has taken off full speed. So can you tell us about how you grew spiritually in 2020?
Oh my gosh. That is such a great question. I feel like 2020 really pushed a lot of people, not just myself, to turn inward, because once you're your friends and your family and all of these people that you would normally be out with, you're only left with yourself. So I feel like for me, I just had more time to kind of turn inwards and reflect on how far I had come, even up to 2020, and then start, making plans. Even though we were in the middle of a pandemic, I had so much more time to plan business stuff and figure out how I wanted to start teaching, and just, I don't know, I had a lot of, I think, the thing that really did it for me was just all of the time for introspection and just diving inward that just kind of catapulted me into this new phase of spiritual growth again, which is just crazy.
Again, I love that.
Yeah.
So, something else you're doing too is you're teaching. How did that come about?
So I was contacted. I actually did a reading we hit it off. She just felt like my other mother, basically, in the reading, and she asked me if I had any, desire to kind of get groups of people together and do practice readings and just kind of host a development circle, basically. And originally I was like, oh, that sounds awesome, but I had this crazy sense of like imposter syndrome, and I was like, am I even qualified to do this? Am I gonna just like let a bunch of people down? So I had to work through that. But I'm like psychic development group, basically, and it has grown. I now have 2 sessions. So in the sessions I do like a little mini lecture on various different topics that people just kind of need to know when they're first getting started with their own psychic development. And then I throw people into like little breakout rooms and they do readings for each other. And I don't know, it's a really cool way for people to get to experience a safe space to practice readings and experience other people's energy. It's hard for people these days to find a safe space to kind of open up their gifts and practice and not be judged, but also like get to learn. And I push people, like my students, I don't know if anybody in the chat is a student of mine, but I definitely have push people beyond the limits of like what they even thought they were capable of. And I don't know, it's just it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding to see how much people grow in the short time period of like the sessions.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
I don't want to, give away your secrets or nothing, but can you tell us your teaching style? Like, are you the type that's literally do it your freaking self, leave me alone, I told you that, that's it? Or are you the type that will actually go hands on and make sure like you're gonna get this no matter what? Or like, what is your teaching style?
I would definitely say I'm more towards the second thing. Like, I feel like I'm a hard teacher because I'm going to push you like past your limit. But at the same time, I am very hands-on. The one thing that I think is so cool about these psychic development groups is that they're still very small. So within the like 8-week sessions, I can jump in and help my students one-on-one with their readings and like specifically tailor my advice and my teaching to their specific style and needs and things like that for their readings. So, if somebody is practicing mediumship, they're going to get different advice from me one-on-one than somebody that, but yeah, I think that's the coolest part about it is that like everybody can practice different readings. So it's very tailored to the individual person. But yeah, I'm way more hands-on. Like, I'm going to push you. This is going to be a hard exercise, but just like do it and trust yourself and see what happens. Because I think people surprise themselves a lot when they're first beginning. Like, you don't even realize how much you're capable of.
Okay. And there we go.
I think you noticed that, or you mentioned that in one of your YouTube videos on like kind of developing it and like forming that confidence because it's something you already know. I like that.
Yes, totally. And I think that, we spend a lot of time developing trust, just like in getting the information and trusting what you get and just not judging it and throwing it out. So some of my favorite readings that we do are like photo readings where you just have to trust the information you're getting because you're not getting instant validation from somebody that's like sitting across from you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you kind of just have to push people when they're first beginning because they don't even know how accurate they can be.
Okay. What type of tools do you use?
Like for readings or
when you're teaching, or do you just not use anything? For instance, because I thanks to Lady Rhea, she informed me that, for instance, tarot cards like this here are used to or were used to help people train their third eye to get it open, and it's kind of a beginner step and you go from there. So I was wondering if you had a tool that you might have used like they used to use tarot cards for.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely give my, like, I do my best predictions and psychic work when I am reading from oracle cards or tarot cards to kind of create a story. So that's kind of my go-to, and that's something that I like to teach people when they're first beginning. I think it's a good kind of stepping stone to getting comfortable with receiving psychic information, but not just having to like pull it from, you know, source or the person's energy or whatever. So yeah, I definitely push people to use tarot or oracle cards when they're first starting, but I don't necessarily think that everybody needs to use them. Like for example, I had this one student who was just, she was so good at just picking up on the person's energy and giving a reading that way, and she was very accurate without having to do that. But I definitely recommend oracle cards, tarot cards, and even specific types of crystals for people. And I will give exercises, but other than that, it's really up to the students and what they want to get better with. I don't ever like say like you have to do mediumship or you have to do oracle cards, but I do give like my perspective on how they could help push people more to open up.
Okay, now I reckon that could be an issue at times, because when we're going through a spiritual awakening or awakening ESP or whatever you want to call it, you know, we don't really know what our specific abilities may or may not be. And, you know, so trying to figure that out can be difficult. So it's nice that you'll help and use your intuition
Totally.
and abilities to get it going. So what do you think is the most common type of ability that chances are everyone has? It's just, it needs to awaken a little.
Specific ability, I think that people are definitely more feelers than they even realize. Like the people that are mostly drawn to me are people that are very clairsentient, which means that they're able to feel energies of spaces or people or like things very easily. So I would definitely say the most common is probably clairsentience, and then the second most common, I feel like, is clairvoyance. I feel like people are very good at seeing. We're kids, we're using our imagination, we're using that same kind of space where we receive psychic information by like envisioning a place that we want to be at and, you know, playing with our friends or whatever. So it's kind of in that same space that we're using our clairvoyance and we're getting information and receiving, you know, psychic info. So I think that clairsentience, though, is probably the most common ability that I have seen, just through, you know, the students that I've worked with and readings I've done and stuff like that.
Okay, and Neima, when you were telling me that you were resonating with some things that Jack was saying when you were going over her YouTube videos, tell us about that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was relating to, was kind of the initial gut feelings that people can have. And I've had a lot of those, or like first impressions of people or their energy. And then also visuals, like tons of visuals, dream-wise, or like little snippets of things. And I'm like, oh man, why did the universe have to show me this?
Yeah, I just think it's so like we kind of just have those abilities, and it's just up to us if we continue to use them or not. So people that are very creative tend to be able to clairvoyantly see things really easily, I found, because you're able to, like, especially like artists and people like that, where you can see the painting or whatever you're working on in your mind before it's even, you know, manifested in the physical world. So I think we use our psychic abilities and that.
Oh, the stupid thing
Really
froze right when you were saying in the meat of it.
What do I need to repeat anything?
Well, you said that use our psychic abilities and it went. Bleh.
Yeah, I think we use our psychic abilities like way more in daily life than we actually think that we do. I think that we use that psychic space, like we just use it. I mean, photographic memory, you know, students when they're in class and they're trying to remember, you know, what was on the thing that the teacher had explained and what was that diagram, and if you can recall that, you're basically using your clairvoyant like space in your mind. So I just think that it's it's a lot more common than people think.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I would agree with that.
And
Yeah, even as I just want to say, as an artist, I kind of do that. Like if I have an image in my head and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna manifest it, but I see it, it's there. I don't know how it's gonna come together, but it eventually does, and that's awesome that you said that.
Totally,
It's
yeah.
definitely
That's,
that
I
space.
mean, yeah, it's like it's so much more normalized than I think people realize. And because things have been so blown up in movies, I think I ranted about this last time I was here, but like I feel like Hollywood did such a incredible job of like ruining what actual psychics and mediums like look like and act
Oh
like
yeah,
and
with
psychic
all those
abilities.
TV shows.
It was just, it's so blown up, but in reality we're all intuitive and we are all psychic to some degree, is that we're using those abilities in our everyday life. And I think that, Hollywood just, don't get me started about that. I could rant about that for the whole hour that we're here.
okay. Well, no, I do the ranting here. All right.
All right, I'll leave it to you.
Um,
True.
but that's pretty cool though. Especially like I'm happy it resonates with you, Neima, because I was gonna say like you're an artist. Didn't you just finish a piece?
Yeah, and that was the whole thing. Was I kind of saw it in that space, and I knew I wanted to bring it into this reality, and it took me a long time, but it happened. So
So cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so I'm putting out there millions of dollars.
yeah, yeah.
Me too, me too.
Unreal.
No, actually, okay. So in all
Start drawing dollar
seriousness,
bills over and over.
don't think I haven't done that. In all seriousness, though, um, what is your
So funny.
what is your take on manifestation, Jack?
Oh my gosh. I love manifestation. I think anybody can do manifestation. I think you just have to know the steps, and once you know the steps, you could literally manifest whatever you want. I don't know how much do you want me to go into it? I could totally.
Well, let's do it. Like, we have time.
Yeah. So I have always, I feel like, been able to manifest things pretty easily, but I never really understood.
Oh, you froze.
When the movie The Secret came out, have you guys seen that?
Yep, I'm familiar with it and the book.
Okay. I love that. And I feel like it does such a good job at breaking down what you're supposed to actually do to manifest things. And that is the process that I use. So I think it's like, write it down as if you already have it, shift your like emotions into a state of being grateful that it's here. And then you just kind of wait and try to hold that vibration of feeling like you already have it, like it's already yours. And I think that people, I don't know, can complicate it a bit, but I do that entire process, and then I ask my spirit guides to like come in and like give it a boost, and it will work. You just have to ask. I feel like people just forget that you just put your order into the universe,
Yeah. Recently, well, I can't say recently now, but recently enough when it came to manifestation, because I am money hungry. I openly admit this. I did this spell that Bonnie suggested, light a green candle and a few other stuff. And most interesting thing happened. A being came to me, a deity, or maybe not deity. I don't know. Perhaps I created her, but her name is Monet. Yes. And all of a sudden, after that, my tarot picked up, and I started to get money. It was like, what the heck? So, I definitely think there's something to the manifestation, and I do think you have to put your energy out there, but I think a misconception is people think it's supposed to go poof, and it's here instantly.
Right.
And it's not like that. Things have to fall into place. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes not so quickly, but if you stay consistent and pump that energy out there, and I want to say actually believe and know that whatever you're trying to manifest, you already have, it's yours, then the process becomes easier and it comes to you. I can't snap my fingers. I was going to say like that, but someone snapped their fingers.
Yeah,
for
way
me.
quicker.
Like that. There we go. You know, so there definitely is something to manifestation, and I mean we're only obtaining what's already ours to begin with. It's just, you know, we got to get through the mental blocks we put on ourselves, and the saying, oh, I can't
Totally.
have it, I'm never gonna get it. You know, it's easy to say that. So it's a process, but definitely legit.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's the cool thing about like spell work and stuff. Spell work is basically just amplified manifestation. Like that's all it is you're just putting your intention into some steps more physically than I feel like just like writing stuff down. So I think that's cool too.
Yeah. What about you, Neima? Have you manifested anything?
I used to do a little bit of sigil magic and kind of do that thing. But now I think it's more of I ask the universe, or I tell like, hey, if this is supposed to happen, like let me know, or just more of a communication kind of mind thing instead of doing the extra.
Oh, so VB, I love that, VB. Anyway, she has a question, and I'm not sure how we can answer this, but she asked, how do I push through my artistic block? Okay.
Honestly,
I feel like yeah,
I always get blocks, but I mean, I think just recognizing it as a block and saying like, hey, maybe I just need to rest and chill and wait for the next inspiration or whatever's going to hit me, because I know it will eventually. Just got to recognize that you're a creative person, and sometimes you need that break and just wait for it. I don't know.
I think that's great advice.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah, because if you force it, it's not like you're gonna constantly be stuck in that block, and it's always gonna be there. So just let it go; it'll come back.
All right. What do you think, Jack?
No, I feel like when people go through blocks like that, I also agree, like, usually that's a sign you need to rest. Like, whenever that's happened to me, it's because I've overworked myself. Even if it wasn't, like, creatively, it just is kind of a sign to me that, yeah, you need to rest. But also, doing something physical and, like, grounding might help to kind of reset your energy and get that energy and that creativity flowing again. So, like, doing some little bits of yoga or doing some stretching or going for a I don't know, doing something to just connect you back to your physical body or to the earth might help to kind of get that energy moving again. But definitely, I would do a combination of like taking a break and light exercise or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that is the break, because I feel like you're right. Because sometimes I'll do yoga or something, and it'll get me back to where I'm like, all right, now I feel more energized. Now I can go back to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, it, like when people say like art block or creative block, not moving, basically, like your creative energy is stuck. So anything you can do to kind of reset your energy will usually shift you out of that like mindset, basically.
Now,
Yeah.
you both said yoga, and I don't know. I don't like yoga. I try yoga. It's not agree
so good
with
for
me. It's
you.
not made for a 6'3"
So good.
person. So um, now, this may or may not help you, V, but I watch American Chopper, and apparently that gets things flowing. So no joke. Recently, I watched American Chopper, and next thing I know, it's like, hey, I got an idea for something, and it's being made right now. So, you know, everyone's different though. You know, because
Totally.
sometimes I think that we need to see other people to become inspired, and it gets the juices flowing where it's like, oh man, I could totally do that, or in my case, I could do that so much better than you. So you know. But you got to get rid of the ego, you know. That's the which I have not, but you know, you got to get rid of that thing. Jack, actually, speaking of ego, do you ever find yourself like maybe you might watch other psychic mediums, channelers, whatever on YouTube? Do you ever find yourself saying like, "Oh my gosh, I could do this better than you," or do you just listen and learn from them no matter what?
I would say that I don't know, I respect everybody is on their own spiritual journey. There are definitely times where I'm like, okay, I need to use this as a learning experience of what I don't want to do if I'm giving a reading or anything like that, like especially with mediumship and stuff like that, where sometimes I feel like it can be very vague or they're asking a bunch of questions or, you know, things like that. But yeah, I think I mostly just take it as I don't know, just a little bit of a learning experience of like, yeah, I don't like that. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, you're choking like me. It's jumped over.
One second.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, my cooties went over to you. I am so sorry.
Your cooties, get them away.
Neima, you're next.
Oh.
All right, so while
Oh my gosh.
we're taking a quick break here, I am going to do some self-promotion. So if there's anyone out there who likes gaming, who likes my voice, I hope you all like my voice. It would suck if you didn't. Then check out Crimson Gaming. Yes, capital C, capital C in Crimson and capital G in Gaming. And that is where I upload gameplay stuff with me commentating over it. So you can use it for background noise and just to relax. And, you know, I would like people to say hi on a video. That would be nice too. So definitely check out Crimson Gaming. All right. And we are now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh. That came out of nowhere. I did have coronavirus like 2 weeks ago, so I am in recovery still, but oh my gosh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's been one of those nights. It's just one of those nights. Actually,
For sure.
I am happy you mentioned the freaking coronavirus, and the reason for this is because on your stream Friday, was it Friday? I think it was Friday.
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Okay, so you mentioned how you were afraid that it might mess up with your abilities, and you know, I haven't heard that from anyone before. I never even thought about that, and you're the first person that I've come across to say that. So, can you take us through that a little bit? Like, why did you fear that?
Yeah, so I ended up having a lot of mental symptoms, and just the virus had affected my brain to some degree. And when you think about it in terms of energy, you know, your brain is located right near your crown chakra, and your crown chakra is what helps you connect to the universe and, you know, your spirit guides and things like that. So yeah, I was a little nervous that was going to impact my ability to connect and do readings and things of that nature. But at the same time, I've been on an herbal formula that has basically gotten me back to normal in that area. But I'm still definitely very tired. But I think that, you know, my initial response was like, oh my gosh, if I can't mentally think straight or get mentally clear enough to connect, how is that going to impact my readings? Because I was experiencing this brain fog, and you have to be very like, I don't know, I can't have any stress on my mind from anything that's happened throughout the day, or be like super upset about stuff, or, you know, any of that. I have to be very clear because I'm basically like getting information almost as like a channel, and I'm giving it to the client. So for me, I went straight to, oh my gosh, if this impacts my ability to kind of think straight, how am I going to be able to, I don't know, like really connect when I'm doing readings? So that was, but I am feeling a lot better, even though that cough probably said otherwise. I am feeling better in the mental aspect of it.
Well, that's, I think the mental part's more important. Physically, you'll get there. So, but yeah, like I said, sorry for giving you the cooties. Happens,
It's all right, I forgive you.
Okay, so yeah, that was just very interesting because I didn't even think about that or know about it. And Jenny is saying she's happy you're getting better, by the way, in chat. Hi, Jenny. And yeah, so guys, be careful with that stuff. No joke. All right, so let's get to something fun, though. We don't want to give that thing any more power than we already give.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot, Jack.
Oh, geez. All right. Hit me.
So, looking at Neima and, just knowing her a little bit and everything.
Putting me on the spot.
Well, you don't necessarily have to do anything, but...
Oh, okay.
What type of abilities do you think she would develop or she should focus on developing, or what she would be good at?
So I definitely, okay, not to be weird, but like, this is how I do readings. I do readings over Zoom, over video call now.
Right.
So when we got on call, I was like immediately like, oh my gosh, I can see both of their energies. So for you, I feel like kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where you have this clairsentient ability. Those are the two that you should really, really hone in on. But also, I feel like clairaudiently, you would be able to like really be able to connect with your spirit guides if you could just get out of your head a little bit and just trust it. Like when you got it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's the only thing holding me back.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do get some like audio stuff, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm just thinking of that. No, like I talk myself out of it. I'm like, oh, okay,
yeah. I think clairaudience is one of the most useful psychic abilities because it's like a direct connection. You don't have to pull cards. You don't have to, mess with the pendulum. You don't have to do all these extra things. You connect and you're talking to your guides. But it's hard. It's hard to trust that it's not just your mind. It's hard to trust that it's accurate information. There's so much of this trust thing that I think, especially new, they kind of go through that whole phase of like, first of all, am I crazy? And second of all, like, how do I even know if this is real or not? So I definitely think, though, if you could, you already seem like you are very much a feeler and a seer. So I think that is where I would start. And I would get to like a place where you feel very comfortable and confident in those abilities, and then add clairaudience in, because in that way you can kind of use your clair abilities to, like, for example, if I'm in a reading and I see a grandmother pop up in my mind's eye, and then I hear the word like mom's side or something, then I know that yes, this is like a grandma on the person's mom's side. So you can kind of use the abilities together, and that kind of just confirms that you're getting accurate information. But I think also practicing is definitely the way to go as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you gonna do that, Neima?
Yeah. I try.
Oh, I will actually.
I already kind of. I just have to convince myself.
I will call you out if you don't next show. So I will. I have no shame.
Oh, I know.
She's thinking to herself, "Oh God, this prick."
You two are so funny.
Right,
oh my gosh.
You said that you felt the energy from us, which I think you're the first person to say that who came on. And just sheer curiosity, what does the energy feel like?
So I am more of a seer, so I actually feel like I can see, like, I'm gonna look away from the camera for a second, look at you guys, but I can actually see your energy layers just, like, sitting here chilling. Because I almost think I've got it now where when I go onto a Zoom call, I just immediately kind of turn my abilities on because I do readings over class is really fun because then I'm picking up on the teachers' stuff that they're going through and everything. But I think that when I got on here, I just immediately could see both of your main energy colors. So that was really, really interesting.
Okay. Is mine brighter than hers?
Well, she does yoga, so...
That doesn't mean I do push-ups. So...
That was perfect. That was the perfect thing.
Listen, people that do yoga, I'm not even kidding you, Mel, people that do yoga consistently have seriously the prettiest energy. I don't know if did I talk about this on your last podcast? I don't remember, but
let's bring it up right now.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you. People that do yoga are so energetically balanced that their energy comes through as almost like like a colored glass surrounding them. Ooh. Instead of like where people are going through stress and things like that. People that are like doing when they're doing yoga, I feel like normal people's energy is more stressed. It's a little bit more muddy. The colors aren't as clear because we're going through, things and we're kind of hanging on to that stagnant energy. But with yoga, every move you're doing is kind of releasing that heavy energy to make way for the lighter energy. And I always know when people come to get a reading from me, I always know that they are that the clarity of the color shows up in their energy, and I am jealous because even though I do yoga every once in a while, I am not consistent with it, and I would like to be because the energy, it's just so pretty. It's so balanced.
Okay.
I do want to touch on something real quick because you said that it's like when you see it, it's kind of like glass.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. Can you explain maybe a few different textures? Because I feel like I've seen that glass and I'm like, oh, it is pretty. But what is exactly, what does that mean?
So you cut off a little bit. Could you repeat the first part of what you said?
Just talk a little bit more about the different textures of an aura, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay.
That
sure.
Glass or the murkiness that some people talk about. But I've just definitely seen the glass and I'm like, oh, that's pretty.
Sure. Yeah. The glass kind of color will show up sitting or grounding consistently. So it's one of those things. So people will have very balanced auras because what you're doing when you're cleansing or you're grounding or you're doing yoga consistently is, like I was saying, you're pushing that negative energy down out of your energy. So all that's left is this positive, lighter, basically just prettier energy. Whereas, people that don't know about energy cleansing, they don't know about grounding, they don't know about yoga, stressors of life, you're like a magnet to all of this muddy energy. And you're carrying that with you. And so the energy will feel heavier, the energy will look heavier, it won't be as defined. Usually when people are doing yoga or meditating. Like what?
Foggy?
Yeah, foggy. Okay. Yeah, foggy or almost smoky a little bit. Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah, when people are doing things consistently, you'll see a defined layer sometimes. And not everybody sees auras the way that I do. But for me specifically, I will see a defined layer, and when people come in and they're stressed, sometimes they'll have ridges or sharp edges to their energy. Sometimes it'll come through without a border, like we were kind of saying, smoky or foggy. Sometimes, people will come in and their whole energy in almost like a protective, like, I don't even know, a protective defensive response to something that they've recently gone through. And you can feel it's almost like a plastic that they've like melded to their physical body. So there's so many different things when it comes to aura about, you know, clarity and shape and all of this stuff. So the clarity is something that I really pay attention to in my reading specifically, though.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Angie, she wants to know what colors are there. So Angie's being
what did you say?
Angie wants to know the colors. What colors do you see between?
Oh, sure.
Neima and there we go. Yeah, this way. Her and I.
Sure. Yeah. So Neima has a lot of green. You both have a lot of green, but Neima also has a very distinct blue, dark blue layer that I'm picking up on as well. So I pick up on dark blue sometimes when people. Oh gosh, I don't know how much do you want me to?
You're fine.
Say okay. Okay, so what I kind of am seeing is like a dark blue layer. So this could mean that she's gone through grief recently or some sort of sadness or loss. But it's also a very like it's connected to the throat chakra. Blue is associated with communication, things like that. But then I feel like your real energy that you show up as is this awesome green color, and then you got a little bit of purple as well. And I feel like in your mental region, you do have a little bit of a tendency to overthink. So you do have a little bit of yellow. But the green energy is that creativity. It's that empathic, you know, ability. It's the kind of like healer staple, you know, energy when you have the green and purple, which is psychic ability and spirituality and stuff like that. Like I feel a very witchy vibes from you. Of like a very distinct dark green, I feel. And also lots of magenta, Melvin. I don't know are you going through, well, I don't know how much you want to talk about, but magenta is a color that I associate with uncertainty or transition. So if you are, I don't know, like between jobs or thinking of moving, sometimes that color will show up, but also like I'm wondering who does the past year that we've had.
You froze up right when you were explaining it.
A magenta. Okay, so magenta is a color of like transition, or uncertainty. And I was just saying like, but who right now doesn't have magenta after the year that we've just gone through? But if you have been thinking of like changing jobs or moving or are thinking of just having, like sometimes that'll show up. And you also have a lot of mental kind of yellow energy as well, which is the overthinking and stuff like that.
That sounds about
very
right.
interesting,
I'm
though.
alone. I get that.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. And magenta,
So fun.
that's interesting because it's always some variation of red somewhere with me. Actually, I'm
interesting.
really upset because I had a painting that I wanted to put up right here, and I don't have any nails to put it up, and it's upsetting. And then I tried to use some tape, and it's upsetting. I don't know what this has to do with anything, actually. I don't know why I went there.
Did it have red?
Yes, I'm going to get it to show it off because this was a present. And you know what? God darn it, I'll show it off. So hold on. You guys communicate. I'll be right back. This is totally
unprofessional. Yeah, now we have to see it. Cause...
Yeah, we have to. All right, go.
Don't laugh at my big butt.
That would be so upsetting. Like, that'd be so random if it didn't have any red.
Yeah, just like, what are you...
Oh, there, perfect. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, awesome.
For your Taurus, your Taurusness. That's awesome. Love that.
Okay. Did you guys see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
So yeah, I wanted that up there, Crimson Taurus, but unfortunately, mess happens.
It's awesome.
So, but thank you for that though. Magenta, yellow, green, it's a lot of colors. And you know what, Jack? I am going to do something. I didn't tell you we were going to do this, but I'm going to move out a little bit out of your comfort zone, hopefully. And I'm going to bring up this because, oh, well, maybe this isn't out of your comfort zone now that I think about it. But anyway,
Okay.
a couple weeks back,
Sure.
I had J.S. Garrett on, and I guess if you want to use Star Wars as a reference, light side, dark side, Jedi, Sith, whatever, he would probably be more on the Sith side, whereas you, Jack, would probably
Okay,
be
sure.
more on the Jedi side. But interestingly enough, Neima, she couldn't make the show because, like, for whatever reason, like, her stomach just got icky. And, you know, just maybe she was taking on that energy and it just doesn't agree with her. Like, what do you think? Like, what, if, do you have any idea on what
So-
happened there?
So I did not listen to that show. Does he work with specifically maybe not, maybe he doesn't think they're more negative, but maybe negative entities or spirits, or do
He works-
questionable work?
He works with everything. We'll put it. He's worked with Archangel Raphael. He's worked with gods, goddesses, and he works with. Wow, I just got belched. Go away! What is up tonight? And he works with things that we would call demons, but in a different type of way. So yeah, he works with. I guess if you want to look at it as light and dark, yeah, he works with darker beings. But he also works with what you would call some light beings in regards to angels and the Watchers. So it's a good show. You should check that one out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was listening to the one with Brooke, and Brooke worked with like daemons, or she was like a daemonologist or
Gushin.
something.
Yeah.
Gushin. Okay. So yeah, I honestly, I think your energies probably just were on completely different vibrational levels. Like, you have these high vibrational energies of a healer, and when somebody comes in that works with, you know, darker or I perceive as more negative, you just might not mix. And the fact that your solar plexus too was impacted by it, I almost wonder if that was sort of a protection thing from your guides, or something where they were like, let's just keep you at home in bed or chilling, and just let Melvin handle this. But I don't know. That's interesting. I've never heard of somebody that works with both archangels and darker energies. I feel like people usually choose.
Yeah, he's unique, but it's a very interesting guy because he looks at things from a science aspect first, and then
Totally.
the paranormal metaphysical aspect, which is very interesting. But yeah, like, he's open to work with whatever. It doesn't matter to him, which I think helps. You know, I think sometimes sometimes we just get caught up in the light and the dark, and nope, stay away from the, you know, sometimes. And you know, it's not anyone's fault really, it's just how we're brought up in society and we see things. I mean, like, even a chessboard, for crying out loud, dark evil, white good, you know. It's like, what?
Right. Yeah. I think that there's definitely perceptions especially in, like, because we're just like kind of like a Christian country, and if you hear the word demon or something, you're like, ooh, like, this is bad. I'm gonna be punished. I just don't choose to work with energies like that because I feel like I have experienced the before, and it was horrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty brave. Like, I do house cleansings, you know. I'm a pretty brave person, but there have been a couple times where you encounter something that is just very dark, and I put it out there, and I was like, I do not want to experience that energy ever again. I don't care how quickly you're going to manifest something for me, or if you can do this or what. I'm like, I'm not into it. But I don't think that there's anything wrong if people they learn more about spirituality and the duality of our existence, basically.
Now, I'm going to say two things real quick. The first is,
Sure.
I didn't tell Neima this, but I asked someone else about what could have possibly happened, why she wasn't able to make the show. They said what you said, Jack. Like, it was probably her guide saying, "Nope, this
Yeah.
doesn't. No, it doesn't fly. You're not for this." And it kind of makes sense. I can, because Neima, you're kind of a softie.
Well, I mean, and honestly, like I like having an open perspective, and I do ultimately want to understand that kind of thing,
Totally.
and I want to understand it. I want people to talk to me about it, but that just happened to be like if I'm having nightmares, if I'm smelling it, and if it keeps coming back to me, like I'm not going to put myself in a position to have that experience keep happening. It was just unpleasant, and I hate the fact that it was unpleasant, but
Yeah, I think it's also, I mean,
make it not.
It sounds like it was a protective measure, because if he does work with specific entities that are, slightly more negative in the way that we look at things, they really like people with our energy. That healer energy is very attractive to them, because it's very potent, it's very powerful, and beings and spirits and things like that can really do a lot by taking that energy, but using that energy and stuff. Yeah, I think it just makes sense that your guides would be like, we don't have enough protection to just like figure this out if you guys are in the same vicinity, so let's just have you like not be a part of this for your own protection. It's really interesting. Yeah.
And the second thing is, well, apparently I am not a healer, because none of that stuff bothers me, and I would like your opinion on that, because no, like seriously, Melvin being serious for once, serious face, grr. And it's very weird, because I speak to a lot of people in the paranormal and the supernatural, dealing with not necessarily just spirits, but aliens and interdimensional beings, or extra dimensional. But none of that stuff seems to affect me. Do you have any idea why that would be?
I think you're very grounded. I think that I don't know why that could be. I think it's more like when we are more of like lighthouses, and we're more like up in our upper chakras, it's easier for entities and spirits and things like that to kind of hone in on us and use our energy for things. But you are so very grounded to me, even though you might get stuck in your head every once in a while from the overthinking, that maybe that has something to do with it.
Maybe. I really
deities are something that are working with you to protect you while you're going through these things. I'm not really sure.
I'm sorry, you just reminded me of another two things that happened. Okay, so you remember I told you that I think I have an angel around me or whatever? Raphael.
Yes.
That is his name. Not Archangel Raphael, for those who's like, the Archangel, not him. But another Raphael. Oh gosh, I'll just fast forward through some of that. But he showed up to two people. One of them is actually on camera, her reaction. That was Bonnie, and how he was communicating through her. She was not liking it. It wasn't pleasant. And the second person was Angie K. And we were yapping on Skype, and he touched her. She was like, "Come on, do something. I want to feel you." And he said, "Okay." And it was just woof, and so yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and then there's two other ones, but that's story for a different time. But so yeah, you might be right. He might just say, "No, go away."
Yeah, I wonder if they were like, all right, he needs this angel because now he's starting to talk to people that are talking about all these different things, and maybe that could bring like certain energies into your space. So maybe they were like, all right, he needs some extra protection. go be with Melvin and protect him while he does this podcast. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I do think it's funny. If he touches you, you'll know.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'll fight. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but they both said the same thing though. His energy, it's not. He's kind of new. It's no kind of. He's neutral. His energy isn't loving at all, but
yeah,
it's not. I'm going to eat your soul either. It's just very neutral, and
sounds like
yeah. So
detective guides are. They're not like lovey-dovey. They're just like they're here to do a job, and it's to protect you. So that's very, very.
Yeah, okay, so
very,
Angie
very
just chimed in. She said that it was so intensive, like what I felt within 1 second time frame was insane.
Wow.
So yeah.
Crazy.
All right, so Jack, you mentioned that you do cleansings or cleanings, and I'm just curious. Do you have any stories about those?
I have so many stories. I mean, I haven't done any in a minute because of COVID and everything, the lockdown. But yeah, I could tell you. I mean, do you want me to tell you a story about? Gosh, I don't know. Pick your genre.
Oh, pick your
genre.
Jeez.
Yeah, like I feel like I have so many. I don't even know which one to start with.
I mean, let's go with Western horror. No, how about one where it probably wasn't as scary as it seemed that you were clean, or maybe even one. I don't know, Jack. Whatever comes to your head. I don't know.
All right. Okay, I will tell you about this one. This one was interesting. Oh well, or do I want to do one that wasn't as scary? Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you about this one that it wasn't actually like a cleansing that I explain to another person how to get a ghost out, which is like very intense. So my boyfriend currently, he was living in Evanston, Illinois. He was in an apartment that was super old in a super old building and was starting to have these experiences at night where he felt like there was somebody staring at him from the corner of the room. Now, this is a very skeptical but open-minded person. Okay, so he's very much. He was insistent on this energy being in his room at night, and to the point where he told me, I will never forget this, he went out to get something from the fridge and felt like there was someone standing on the other side of the fridge while the door was open. So imagine like going to like get like a midnight snack and you open the door and then it's like the horror movie style where you're like, oh my god, if I close this door, am I gonna see some? What's gonna happen? Yeah. So this probably like 2 or 3 days before he was like, okay, please help me. Like, what do I do? How do I get this person out of here? And he actually had a dream about her. And he was in school. The apartments he was staying at were close to a school up in Evanston. And so we had thought that maybe it was like a student who had died in the area or something. And it was like this thing where he became lucid in the dream and looked over and saw this girl that was probably in her 20s, long, dark, black hair, and she like reached out and like grabbed him and like woke up, and he woke up. So he texted me at like 2:30 in the morning and was like, I'm freaking out. I feel her in this room. Like, she obviously wants help or needs help. What do I do? And I was like, all right, here we go. This is what you're gonna do. You are being sweet and put out a little like food offering for her. Tell her that she can use that and like take the energy from the food. And then I want you to smudge and just sage your apartment and tell her to go to the light. And he did everything and it ended up working and she was gone after that. So that was a very weird moment where I was like, I can't get up to Illinois. Like, how are we going to figure this out? But also the visualization, like on the other side of the door at night, or feeling like she was in the corner of his room, like staring at him, like, what are you doing in my room? Just ugh, creeps me out sometimes to think about the stuff that I do.
No.
But
Although,
yeah, it's like, ooh,
although, however, for a second, I thought you were describing Neima like, oh, well, she was in her 20s, she has long dark hair. I was just waiting
well,
to hear
yeah, I mean, like much more pale looking, I think.
Okay. So, all
The yeah, very
got lucky
interesting
this time,
and weird. Yeah, you're off the hook.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. I was like, oh my god, Miss Neima, isn't it? She's doing some mess. But no. Okay, so that... I would never do that. Or, well, I guess you weren't physically there, so you didn't have to actually do that, but you did.
Yeah, I mean, if you were feeling a spirit in your room at night, every night, and you couldn't get up to go get like a midnight snack without feeling a spirit, you don't think you'd be like, all right, help me?
It depends on how hungry I am. Cause,
would you just chill with them and just be friends?
Well, no, you see, the thing is, here's the thing with me. If you're gonna be here, then fine, you're gonna be here, but I have a couple of rules. Rule number 1, don't mess with what I'm eating with. Rule number 2, which is equal to rule number 1, don't mess with me in the throne room. Other than that, we'll get along fine. So, fair. You know, and then chances are I'm so oblivious I wouldn't even notice. So,
oh no.
I'm not saying that like just
so
to say I legit probably wouldn't notice. Except for one particular night, and I've mentioned this a few times. I don't think I told you, Jack, but a year ago now, a little over a year. Gosh, in this room, I was not doing anything. I was yapping, got a phone call, and it was a friend. They were just in distress, and it was not a good night. It was a very, very scary night, of which I never want to relive. But she's in the community and works with things on the other side, like really on the other side. And this is the one time they decided to pay me a visit. And oh no, it wasn't scary or anything, just unexpected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't scary. Yeah. They weren't trying to freak me out, and I'm pretty sure the only reason why they came and were even let in to begin with is to just help them out, to because it was bad. And I one of them got banned from here, but let's see, it was King Pyman. He showed up, and scarily enough, they told me when he shows up, it's always accompanied by some loud noise. It's about 1 or 2 a.m. and I'm hearing drumming outside. And just
oh my god.
I'm like, what the heck? Who's drumming?
Like, am I about to go into a boss battle? Like, what is this?
And then Belial showed up, and the Morrigan showed up. Goddess the Morrigan, she was here, and Beelzebub showed up. Like, there was actually a bug that flew by.
What?
Yeah, I felt them too. I felt all their energy, and again, one of the few times where I can actually say my obliviousness failed me that night, but it was a good thing it did. It honestly was. And
wow.
The one though that got me the most was Lilith. She showed up, and out of all of them, she's the one I'm afraid of. Like, and it wasn't even that she was evil or nothing like that, but her energy is very hypnotic and snake-like, and it just
interesting.
It just slithers and sneaks up on you, and she had a weird warm energy. Like, she's older than all of them, and you could just tell. It's like, you don't mess with her. But she was the one who was banned. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's a story on how she was banned. One person thinks it was because another guide of mine, I'll tell you that story one day, was jealous, and she said, nope, boop, you're out.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah.
That's intense. That's a lot of intense energies to get hit with at 2:30 in the morning. I would be
Well,
like, nope, everybody get out.
well, no.
Get out. Everybody out.
Now, here's the thing. We go back to this. I was just, I mean, it was kind of
Yeah.
freaky at the time, yeah, but what can you do about it? Because I didn't feel it like I'm assuming you would feel it or Neima would feel it or something like that. Like I'm assuming you guys are just, oh, stop it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I was not kidding. I'd be like, get out. I'm trying to sleep. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, I know you guys are powerful, but like, not right now.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but for me, it felt like a tickle in the back and maybe a touch on the left arm, and that was
Wow.
about it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, and I'm sure part of it was intentionally as well, like intentionally trying not to freak me out. But like I said, that was a good time, a good night. My obliviousness failed me. It really was.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That
but
is intense.
yeah. So when, and let me know when that happens to you.
Yeah. I have protection on protection for my house that I'm like, I'm not even, well, maybe I shouldn't put that out there, but I'm not worried about it currently happening. But
Yeah, knock on wood. But
yeah, for real.
okay, so we still have a little bit of time left. So we're gonna jump to something that I don't think you've spoken about before. But what is your opinion on aliens, extraterrestrials?
Oh man, this is like one of my favorite things to talk about.
Well, I haven't heard you talk about it, so
I haven't ventured. I'm not sure if my viewers on YouTube would paranormal like spiritual realm, but like not paranormal. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy that they exist, but like it's more on that like borderline conspiracy theorist area that I just my audience isn't super into that yet. But I definitely believe in extraterrestrials, other worldly beings, um, especially, gosh, beings and stuff, but also interdimensional beings and things like that. I 100% believe in those. I think the universe is just too darn big to not believe in them. And it just that was one of the things that actually sparked my spiritual awakening was researching on extraterrestrials and UFOs and seeing, I don't know if you've ever looked at like Renaissance paintings back from like the Renaissance paintings of like UFO looking things in the backgrounds of some really famous paintings, which is just that was something that like set me off, and I was like, could this actually be a possibility? And yeah, so I definitely believe in them.
okay. Well, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Both.
Well, which one do you want first?
Bad news.
Bad news is you might be visited. And the reason I say that is because for whatever reason, just about every person I speak to about aliens or I mention it, usually they have some around them and they don't know it yet. And I'm thinking you actually have some around you and you don't know it yet. And you're probably gonna be visited.
Interesting.
Now, what they are, I
Interesting.
don't know yet, but chances are you're going to be
Are you
visited.
feeling that? Are you like feeling that right now?
Yeah.
Like, are you picking up on that, or how do you know that?
It's
Is that just
one of
something that
those
happens
things.
with?
Like, it's just one of those things I know. Um,
Interesting.
for you, you might be one of the lucky ones in the States. You might not get grays. I almost want to say that it is higher dimension. So maybe Pleiadian?
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so you might be in that realm. And so if it is Pleiadian, chances are they will contact you in very subtle ways, but you'll also know. You'll know, especially if you see people who look like Legolas or something. You know, it's like, what the heck? You look too
Right.
good.
Right. Yeah.
So it's one of those type
Totally.
of things. All right, so you ready for the
That's
good news?
awesome. Yeah, what's the good news? Is that
You might
that's I
be
mean that's
visited. So there you go.
I was like, that's pretty okay news to me, but very interesting. Are you like really into that? Do you like really connect with talking about
Oh well, that's how Unexplained started.
extraterrestrials?
Actually,
Oh, really?
yeah. Neima and I, we actually did an episode where I give the backstory of Unexplained. It was, oh god, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now, Neima.
Cool.
It was a while ago. But anyway, let me just give you the quick end of it. I had a friend, Alien Photog. I came across him on YouTube. His stuff is still there. And went to his website because I had an interest in aliens. Didn't really want to meet one. Still haven't that I know of. But, you know, it was just an interest. And I did a show for him because he was sick. And like I said, we hit it off really good. And I did a show for him. People liked it. And my first co-host, Rose, she was the one who was like, Melvin, we got to do something. We got to do something. For 5 years, she was pushing me to do something. Eventually, I did it, and of course, she left. and, but originally, she
Oh my gosh.
but originally she wanted to talk about aliens and whatnot, and I said, we need to broaden our horizons. Can't just be a one subject thing, or else you're gonna crash into a wall. So, but
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, the alien stuff. That's the origin of Unexplained Possibilities.
That is so awesome. So what types of extraterrestrials do you vibe with then?
Oh,
Both of you. Do you vibe more with like the Arcturians? Do you vibe more with the Pleiadians? Like who are you mostly drawn to?
for me, I have no idea. I just talk about the stuff. I don't experience it. That's what I tell people.
Oh my gosh.
Right, and me, it's just I have astral abductions, and I have no idea who they are. Like,
Wait,
you
what?
guys-
Astral
I have-
abductions?
Yeah, like they abduct my astral body. So I've had 3 experiences that I actually remember, like floating out and being taken that way. So yeah.
Yeah, Jack's face says it all.
Have you guys talked about that?
Kinda, but not in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that is that terrifying or is that cool? I'm not sure. I feel like it falls between both.
Yeah. No, it's like the first time it was kind of just like, all right, what the fuck is going on? And then the second 2 times I was like, oh, all right. Kind of just like whatever.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So yeah.
Did anything happen? Did you talk to anybody? Sorry,
No,
I never heard of that.
Yeah, so I mean, the first time it was just more of a like very lucid dream where I felt like a spirit guide or someone was trying to tell me something, and then they made me read like this phrase or something, and all of a sudden I was back in my body and I was getting my astral body like pulled out. And so it's turned from a lucid dream to an astral abduction. And I had no idea
Wow.
what an astral abduction was until I had that experience, because I could still feel my physical body in my room, but I still felt like I was floating out of my body and outside the window. And it was the
Wow.
craziest experience. And then all of a sudden I'm getting like drilled in the back of my head and kind of just like worked on. And that's what they usually do. So they don't really talk. They kind of say like, it's like they create dreams for me to be okay with the abduction, but sometimes I feel it completely. And I'm just like, all right, like they're probably doing some type of update or whatever. So I'm just like, shrug.
That's like so terrifying and cool though. Wow.
All right,
Yeah.
That is wild.
So a couple of questions here, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But
Sure.
Denise Journey. Oh well, she wants to hear about the ETs. So she's into it, which is awesome.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Thanks, Denise.
And what does she know? What do you know, Jack, about feline beings?
Oh, like Lyran?
Well, I guess Lyrian, Syrian, one of those Irians.
Yeah. What about them? Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
What do you know about them?
What do I know about them? Oh man, I feel like there's so much information out there about extraterrestrials that I've heard so many mixed things on Lyrians, especially. Like there about that planet that was like very close to Earth, and people thought it was going to be like hitting Earth.
Oh, God, Planet X.
And it was very similar to Earth and all that stuff. Yeah, Planet X. So there were things. The only thing that I really know about Lyrians are that they could potentially be like on the negative side of the alien spectrum or something. Or I don't really know much about them. So I feel like I know mostly about like Arcturians beings, just because those are the ones that I resonate the most with. But Syrians and stuff like that, I don't know much about either of them.
Alright, so just real quick, Lyrians are supposed to actually Pleiadian. I hate all the ends, but Pleiadians, Syrians, and Lyrians are all supposed to actually have some type of relation to Arcturians.
Interesting.
With Arcturians, they're supposed to be the oldest from this galaxy and or universe, and then after that it's whomever else. They started off on a 3D plane like we are now, but they've evolved to interdimensional, perhaps extra dimensional beings. With Lyrians, they're supposed to of course be cat-like people, and they have or had a split with Syrians. They're supposed to be cousins or something.
Mm-mm.
But what happened is, from what I noticed, usually people like putting bad and good on things. Syrian's good, Lyrian's bad. And it's not quite like that, in my opinion. I have no proof of this. It's just, my opinion, speculation. But with Lyrians, they might be a little bit more aggressive than Syrians. And yeah, they look more cat-like. But for the most part, they are what they are. Just like with human earthlings, we'll say. Or from one of my favorite shows, Megas, Earthers. Just like it's different. You have some who are pricks, some who are cool, some who are horn dogs, and some who aren't. Same thing. They're just way more advanced. But yeah, Lyrians tend to be, they can be aggressive, but for the most part, they stick out of our business. They don't really come over here. They don't really do anything. Pleiadians, well, it's a lot of misinformation with them, a lot. But for some reason, people like to resonate with Pleiadians due to, them supposedly looking rather human-like or elf-like and just really attractive people. But I don't know. I just say whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the more I just don't hear about Lyrians as often as I feel like Pleiadians and Arcturians and all that. That's more like mainstream ET stuff. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I would love to know more about Lyrians because I think that they look so cool. If any of the artistic like renditions,
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure
looking ones.
I'm pretty sure some of it's accurate, but then a lot of times, creative freedom. Because if I had to pick an alien, then I don't know. Well, I know what I would pick. I'm just not saying it. You guys don't need to know how pervy I am. So, anyway, Neima, question for you, actually. And this is from Angie. She wants to know if your roommates ever noticed, like, you being taken or anything.
No. My roommate's, like, on the opposite of the unit, and she is in her own world.
Okay.
she would not notice at all.
All right. Well,
air horn percentage, like, yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, so very interesting talk. Went a little bit here, a little bit there. Mostly kept it somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and yeah, this is probably a good spot to wrap it up. So I do want to say, guys, that I am so sorry for the tech issues. It's just, I don't know. Everything just went kaput. And it's so upsetting because I had things set up for you and it would have been special and next time. But on a positive note, Samurai Jack was back. Yes, I had to.
Whoop, whoop.
So,
Oh man, cut that out. Yeah.
I'm not cutting any of this out. This stays.
No,
live.
please. Oh no.
No, this is how I do things now.
Oh
like,
no.
this stays.
It's awesome. I
live
love
on YouTube.
I love the new setup. I really do. I love that you guys are doing the videos now.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
So, and then audio will be on Apple and Spotify, all that good stuff. But Jack, are you doing anything? Any streams coming up? What's happening with you?
So I usually stream on Prime. So you
Wait,
can
say
find
that
me
again,
on.
because you froze right when you said I usually.
Oh gosh.
stream."
Of course I did. I usually stream at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Fridays, where I do readings or just have like a chill talk stream where I do Q&A and we talk about spirituality and stuff. I've got a really awesome community that is already there, but we'd love to add some more people if you're interested. And then I am doing readings on etherealjac.com. Up more consistently here in the near future,
You're
but
gonna get mad,
I'm taking
but
everything.
You froze again.
Yeah. Oh no. I was just saying readings on etherealjac.com. I'm doing email readings, and you can find me on Instagram at etherealjacyt, or YouTube at etherealjac, and that's it.
Those links will be actually. Yes, they're in the description. I actually put them in. Yes.
Yay!
Um,
Awesome.
So Neima, anything you're doing? Anything upcoming?
Gosh, no. I'm in a standstill at the moment.
You
I
see,
know.
she's saying that, but in truth, they're both preparing for their rematch in that cage underground fight.
Right. I'm
That we didn't even know.
So,
Well, it's not fair to go up against her. She's got these alien upgrades hanging out. Like, how is that fair? She's got her alien astral upgrade.
So yeah, it looks like
Oh my
you
gosh.
might have an advantage, but we will be taking bets on that, and yeah, we'll see who wins. I will try and live stream it. So with that said, I think that's a good spot to end it. With that said, guys, don't forget we do have a giveaway. Just announced it tonight. It's happening right now. In order to be a part of it, well, let's hope my streaming software works next time. That's the first thing. But in order to be a part of it, to win the Sekhmet oil, good lord, all you have to do is when this ends and the video goes live, I guess the VOD as they call it, just type in the comment section, I want to be part of the giveaway, or I want that oil, sign me up, Melvin, hey sexy, all that works, and you will be entered into the drawing. And if you don't want to do that and you want to be more private and you don't want people to know you're in there, you can message me on Unexplained Facebook, Unexplained Possibilities Facebook page. There we go. That link's in the description if you just want to, be a bit more secretive about it, which is totally understandable. So I think with that said, don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. And I forgot how to connect this into the other things. So, boy, I've been messing up a lot lately. So we're just going to say this. And remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi.